Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Real View. Real views from real people. We look at film, TV and music. My name is Miles. I'm Miles Reviews. How you guys doing? I hope you're well. Welcome back to the show. Today we are looking at Captain America Brave New World starring Anthony Mackie, and this is directed by Julius Onah, written by Rob Edwards, Malcolm Spellman, Dalan Musson, et al., based on the comics and characters created by Joe Simon, Jack Kirby, Jeph Loeb, Ed McGuinness, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Axel Alonso, Robert Morales, and Carl Baker. Starring, of course, like I say, Anthony Mackie, Harrison Ford, Danny Ramirez, Shira Hass, Carl Lumbly, Tim Blake Nelson, Giancarlo Esposito, and Xosha Roquemore. Have you seen it? What do you think? What are your thoughts? We're going to get into it in a minute and just I'll tell you how I feel about it and what I think about it. And yeah, here it goes. All right, Captain America Brave New World. Let's talk about it. So, what's this all about then, Governor? So, now that Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie, has taken up the mantle of Captain America, he must work with the new Falcon, Joaquin Torres, Danny Ramirez, to protect America from any threats. They must also try to work with newly elected President Thaddeus Ross, Harrison Ford, to try and maintain international peace. Yeah, I saw this opening weekend, and I gotta say, it's not my favorite Marvel movie. It's not my favorite Captain America movie, but it's still very good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent movie. It was like as far as Marvel movies goes, it's not my favorite, but it's better than fine, if that makes sense. You know, it's more than okay. It was a decent time. I would say, yeah, performances were good. It was everything I would expect of this kind of action superhero movie. Did it blow my mind? Not really. I feel like where this film fell down a bit, and I'll talk a bit more about it in spoilers, is partly knowing stuff, you know, and I say that in terms of like, you know, if there were certain characters or certain things I didn't know that were going to happen going into this, it would have been more of a twist, more tension, but yeah, because certain things were revealed. I understand that you got to sell a movie at the end of the day. You got to put bums in seats, and you know, like for instance, like a Red Hulk situation is a big selling point. You know, Harrison Ford turning into a big red hulking monster. He's gonna put so for some people, he's gonna put bums in seats, and you know, it's a bit more of a guarantee of the success of a movie like this, but. Yeah, for me, it just made it didn't make things fall flat, but it just made things a bit more predictable. But yeah, like I say, the action was good. Some of the set pieces were really good. Some of it was slightly reminiscent to Winter Soldier. I feel like ever since Winter Soldier was made, everyone's trying to, when it comes to Captain America movies at least, they're always trying to make that Winter Soldier movie again. And we don't really need a Winter Soldier movie again. I get like in terms of capturing that same sort of how they did the action and the espionage part of it so well. I get it, but the movie itself, we have Winter Soldier. You know, if I want to watch Winter Soldier, I'll watch that. So in this, particularly in this, with a new Captain America, Sam Wilson taking on the mantle, played by Anthony Mackie, it's like you need a new thing. You know, you need something different that can have like elements of that, sure, but you need something that is going to be its own. And as a start off, is this a yeah? I would say this is a new start to a new phase of Marvel MCU movies. I think it was a pretty good jumping off point. You know, it was grounded in some senses and huge spectacle in others. You know, but not obviously not to levels of Endgame or Infinity War, anything like that. Yeah, a decent movie, just as in some ways Winter Soldier was a decent film when it came out. You know, over time, I think I've come to appreciate that movie more, and I feel like this movie could potentially do that. It was a good watch for me. Where I'd rank it with all the other Captain America movies, I'm not really sure right now, but off the bat, I'd say obviously Winter Soldier first. I don't know, like Captain America, I haven't rewatched that again for a while, the first Avenger one, but I do remember enjoying that. So I kind of put it on a level with Captain America: First Avenger. Different movies, in their tone and everything, but I kind of put them on level, and maybe Civil War. I don't know. I don't really count Civil War as Captain America. Maybe really more of like Avengers 2.5, really. But anyway, so let's say that like I say, decent performances. I like the cast. Great cast, actually, to be fair. I can't talk about all of them because it would spoil some of it potentially. But yeah, Anthony Mackie did a great job as lead. Danny Ramirez was playing Joaquin Torres. The new Falcon was suitably, what's the word? Like sort of jovial, sort of young energy, motor mouth, but to a point where it wasn't too annoying. Carl Lumbly, love to see Isaiah Bradley. I think his portrayal of him was great, and he also please don't do anything more to this character. Like, please don't bring any more hard times to this character. Really feel for him. But yeah, I like Giancarlo Esposito as Sidewinder, a character I never have any recollection or idea of. I haven't read a lot of Captain America comics, or just comics in general, really. But for me, it didn't really matter what character he was playing. It's Giancarlo Esposito, you know what I mean, and he was doing the thing, man. Just threatening and just cool, just yeah, man, just great to see him on screen. I wish we got more screen time of him, but equally his character wasn't. No, I won't say it, but is in this story. It wasn't as heavy a role as maybe it could have been. I don't know. Yeah, it was. I had a good time. I enjoyed watching it. I was the tension was there for the most part when it needed to be, and the thrills were there as well. So yeah, tap it straight to my veins. Okay, now moving on to spoilers. Right, what do I dive into first, really? So let's talk about some of the plot. Going back to like what kind of let this movie down in a sense. Not that I feel it was a failure or I didn't have a good time or whatever like that, but there were a couple of things. So obviously you have Harrison Ford stepping into the role of Thaddeus Ross, because obviously God rest his soul, William Hurt passed away, and it's a shame really, because it's kind of that thing of where finally get to have the character become the thing that they're known for. In this instance, the Red Hulk, and get to do that. Yeah, knowing that the Red Hulk would show up in this movie, I mean, it was kind of like I say again, it was necessary to sell tickets, I feel, but it would have been a really cool twist, really cool surprise if you didn't know that he's going to become Red Hulk, because you'd have no reason to know that he would be becoming that, or that in this story that Thaddeus Ross becomes president for whatever reason, and yeah, that would have been a really cool twist. But alas, here we are. And the other twist that would have been good not to know is that the leader wasn't in this. So Tim Blake Nelson plays Samuel Stearns. This is going way back to the Incredible Hulk movie, where he had that where the Hulk had a big rumble with Abomination and messed up the majority of Harlem. Where was Luke Cage when all this happened, by the way? Interesting. Maybe he's still in jail. What's that jail? Is it Blackgate Jail? Or was that DC? I don't know. Anyway, so again, that was another reveal that would have been cool to have while watching in the movie, rather than knowing that he's in there. You know what I mean? That's a bit. I mean, it was hinted at. I don't think I would have clocked, but still, just to have that play out in the cinema rather than in trailers or whatever, or movie news or whatever it is. It's a shame that you just end up having to know so much before going and putting your bum on the seat and just watching it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, that's what kind of killed some of the tension and the what's the word? The intrigue, I guess. For the thriller elements of this movie, which could have made it a lot better, in my opinion. I feel like that would have So, because although I gave it a sort of tap it straight on my veins, it wasn't like a high one. There's a few things, if they missed a few spots I didn't from the way I feel, I would have just given it the sandwich feeling on not satisfying. But I rated it higher because that's how I felt coming out of the movie. I enjoyed it, I had a good time. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a shame. Elements of the Serpent Society in there as well, with Giancarlo Esposito's Sidewinder, and there's a guy called Johannes Hacker Johannes Hacker Johannes. I don't know. Anyway, the dude played Coppered. Dude Sam Wilson has a big fight within the church. Yeah, I don't know. It was there in it. But yeah, I mean, just sort of a sprinkling of that whole Serpent Society thing. I don't think they were looking to. I don't know. They might do one day, but they certainly weren't looking to do it. They bring it in a big way there. So that is where it is. But yeah, I mean, there were some nice little surprises and elements. Like I like seeing Sam have a little chat with Bucky, Congressman Bucky. Interesting. It makes me wonder how Thunderbolt's gonna play out, because obviously he's a bit more Winter Soldier in that. And obviously if he's trying to be a congressman, he can't be doing them shady things there. I don't know. Will Thunderbolts be like chronologically in the past from this, or is it just him going off doing a side thing? You can see his hair slightly longer as a congressman. Buchanan Barnes, James Buchanan Barnes. But yeah, I don't know. That's just me just putting that out there randomly. I don't know for sure. I don't know if it has any relevance or significance, or they're just doing it. So let's talk some more about Isaiah Bradley. Now, I'm a fan of the Isaiah Bradley character. The idea that there was a black Captain America, during the World War, and didn't get his recognition until, Sam Wilson sort of, I guess, campaigned for him or fought for his recognition, and a sort of an apology, which I don't think was a full apology from government, about what they did to him. But he still has a lot of sort of, as anyone would, a lot of chip on the shoulder about being mistreated the way he was, being forgotten the way he was, locked away for basically doing the right thing, and kind of the racial aspect of it there as well. And I think it would have been interesting to play more into that. I think they had that opportunity in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it did. Obviously, it was talked about a bit, but yeah. I mean, this whole thing about being too woke. So I know. First of all, can we just sack off the word woke for this year? I mean, my problem is it's just a word that is so misconstrued so often, or misused, or misunderstood, and it's just an unnecessary word. We can be a bit more nuanced in what we're saying, and I think the reason that it's been so misconstrued is basically for racist reasons, or bigotry reasons, or prejudice reasons. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to put yourself out there and be saying something. Oh, that's like, they're just trying to make it too black, or too Asian, or too gay, or too trans, or whatever. Whatever marginalized group, whatever. You don't want to be saying that outright. But I feel like that's what most people mean when they're saying it. You know what I mean? But not everybody means that, and I feel like as soon as you use that word, it triggers people in some way. So the whole I don't know if anyone's been watching the whole Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man on Disney Plus, and the whole controversy that the voice actor, I can't remember his name now, had with that. So basically came out saying that he was afraid that the show was going to be too woke and annoying. Now instantly that got a lot of people's backs up, particularly on the left, or the black side of things, and they kind of wanted to. People were wanting to boycott the show, but also realized that a lot of people from their communities or different backgrounds were involved in the show as well. So it would then be unfair to them, kind of thing. But I just think when these things happen, can't just sack off the whole thing, obviously, because people. It's not just the one person that might have made those foolish comments that, coming out of that. And B, I don't know why he felt the need to come out and say that if the show was, and obviously, like, in interviews, you get your sound bites and things are taken out of context and all that kind of thing. So, I give him the benefit of the doubt there. And in this instance, I don't know why you would say that once shows say anything like that once the show's done. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like this it's just not worth saying, you know what I mean? But anyway, going back to this whole thing about using that word woke, I feel like for him in that instance, now I don't really know him, I don't really know much about him. I don't know him as a person, but in this instance, I think he was clearly concerned that the show would be when he says too woke. I mean he believes like too left. I believe when he's saying woke, he means in the sense of that, just a very sort of force-fed, trying to be liberal, trying to be diverse, not a genuine, organic sort of way of showing diversity. Or, obviously the show has a lot of changes in terms of like characters. Some characters being black, a lot of like more diverse characters, multicultural, diverse backgrounds, and sexual orientation characters in the show, which makes sense and sort of reflecting a more modern New York. So I've been told, but as everywhere, it's changing, modern, whatever. So it makes sense. But I think for him, he was more concerned that it would just look like any show, just trying too hard to be liberal, to be diverse, and all the rest of it. So I think when he said woke, that's what he meant. But I feel like when as soon as he said that, because of like sort of you get your anti-woke sort of sentiments, it kind of came across as he did not want the show to be as diverse or as whatever. So yeah, again, misconstrued. I just feel the word is not nuanced enough to be brought into the discussion because it's just so vague and so like tied into the politicalness of just making anything political. You know what I mean? That it just, and sometimes things are, but often things really aren't. So what are we doing here? I don't know. I think just sack the word off, stop saying woke and say what you really mean. Say it with your chest, innit? You know what I mean? If you're afraid of things being too inorganic, say that. If you're afraid of things being too black or too Asian or too Latinx, Latino or gay or trans, whatever, then say that, innit? Say it with your friggin' chest. Yeah, so I think the guy is called Hudson Thames. Hudson Thames is the voice of Peter Parker. But yeah, it's one film that show, so I know I went off on a real tangent though, but I'm quite enjoying that show so far. Anyway, back to Captain America Brave New World. So yeah, Isaiah Bradley, I really like the idea of that character and what he represents in sort of underrepresented hero of America, or like the hero that America is happy to get help from, but not happy to represent, if you know what I mean. So yeah, very very interesting there, and again, like I say, like when this guy he's been brainwashed to attack the president and all this kind of stuff, and then ends up in jail. And it's just like, oh man, look at this guy live. He's already like been through so much, man. Just allow him. Like it's funny, just go to the White House in his nice suit that he got married to his wife in. I think I have like a very soft spot for like old black people, and especially those who like are just out there doing their best or are being outstanding people or whatever. So when I see them get mistreated, even if it's just a movie, I'm like, man, no. But yeah, so I thought it was interesting what they did with his character. I think they could have done a bit more in terms of like the the racial element of it, talk about it and what he's been through and all that. And I mean, they kind of touched on it. I don't know if there was time to deep dive into it, but I feel like definitely in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show, they could have done a bit more of it there. But hey, it is what it is. I guess baby steps, I suppose. But yeah, I mean this I feel like there is a certain group of people or fringe of society, I guess, that would think, why are you doing a black Captain America in Sam Wilson or whatever, whoever it is, with the ethnic, they are not down with it. And I get it. I mean, I don't get it. I'm like, I think I understand where they're coming from, in that, if it's anyone else but a white lead, it's not going to work, or whatever. It's too automatically is going to end up being too, forgive me for using that stupid word, woke, But this movie wasn't it. It did talk about stuff, that is kind of, I guess, could be seen as slightly politically divisive, but it's the world we live in, you know what I mean? Like, he is a black man wearing the stars and stripes, defending America, and yeah, I kind of like the way he had a lot of respect as Captain America, but was also still struggling with now what I can attest to being a very real sort of pressure of doing definitely doing well as a black person, not slipping up at all in carrying on this mantle, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't even take the serum. And, there's this whole discussion he has with Bucky of whether he should have taken the serum, because the forces that he's fighting, he's just not able to match them on a level, you know what I mean? He can't really go toe to toe with them, and that's but Bucky has this line about how Steve Rogers was something for everyone to look up to inspire, but Sam Wilson, is someone to aspire to, because he's a human just doing his best. You know what I mean? That's something that anyone could do in a sense. Let's talk about some more characters. So we had Shira Hass playing Ruth Bat-Seraph, a character I've never heard of again, but apparently was a former widow, and is now working as security detail for the president, Thaddeus Ross. It took me a while to get into this character. Like, when she got to start showing how badass she was, I was like, yeah, cool. It's interesting now. Yeah, the whole ex-widow thing. Again, it's another thing I would have liked to explore a bit more. She had a bit of an action scene. She had to beat up a few people and whatnot, but then she kind of just faded away and popped up a little bit now again. But yeah, I mean, for me, it felt like the team could have been like, Captain America, Joaquin Torres, Isaiah Bradley, if they were going out of jail before that. Yeah, Ruth Bat-Seraph, former widow, and a bit more Xosha Roquemore as Leela Taylor. Sam's friend on the inside, working with the president there. I liked her character as well, actually. I would like to see a bit more of her, but I like the. But then, I don't know how interesting that might have been. Oh, it could have been, but yeah, it's cool to see her interact with Sam, and yeah, their relationship as friends, and also just her role as the president's aide, I guess, security detail. I don't know, but she was there. She was tooled up in it. She was ready if anything was going down. But it did make me laugh when Harrison Ford started to. Harrison Ford. When when President Ross started turning into the Red Hulk, because they were all trying to shoot him, and it's like, come on, we know from experience that doesn't do anything. Like, surely you guys with your guns, like, where have you been? Do you know what a Hulk is? Are you serious? What are we doing here? It's just gonna make him more angry, more powerful. That's how it works. Surely you must know that. Let's stop trying to shoot the Hulk. The sort of what do you call them? Dog fight with Captain America, the Falcon, and the Japanese fighter jets, and the brainwashed US fighter jets. That was a really cool scene for me around the Celestial. And shout out to bringing the Celestial thing back and making that work, not acting like Eternals never happened. To me, Eternals was a fine movie. It was just fine. It wasn't like a great movie, but it was just it was fine. It was there in it. Like I said, I think it would have worked better as a series because there was just so many characters and so much lore to dig into. It's a bit hard to stuff into one movie, but there you were, But But yeah, well done for bringing that back and making something out of it. Interesting that they're bringing adamantium in there. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the X-Men when they finally introduce them into the MCU, because obviously, as we all know, Wolverine, Logan's skeleton is made of is laced with adamantium, and yeah, just be really interesting to see what they do there. Yeah, would it be like a different timeline, a different parallel universe, or will the X-Men be born of this universe, and then we'll see adamantium has been used. I mean, they'll do whatever they're doing with it, but just be interesting to see where I go on with that. Also, nice to see Liv Tyler reprise her role as Betty. I guess the one of the things about these movies, and because of the way that the Hulk has been ever since Universal Pictures years ago wouldn't give back or wouldn't turn over the rights to that, he hasn't been able to have his own movie. It's a bit like when you see all these like villains and that come back, pop up in other stories, you'll be like, yo, but when's the Hulk gonna face any of these guys? Because obviously the leader, you got Ross as Red Hulk now. Is that gonna come into play at some point? And Betty and Bruce Banner haven't had any interaction throughout the movies that we've seen on screen. You know what I mean? So is that gonna be thing now that she's in this universe as well from the old movie? I don't know. I really don't know. But what they're doing with Samuel Stearns as well as the leader, what's he going to be as a major player? I don't know. Is he even going to be a major player in these movies? I'm glad they didn't just kill him off like they do with some of their villains. They need to just stop killing off villains. It's a bit of a waste. And I did like his character in this. I did like what he did with this. There wasn't that much for him to do. He's a bit more like creep around in the shadows guy and a bit of what's the word? What's that word? Just telling the sort of I can't remember the word now, but just like sort of saying the plot, kind of guy, the kind of plot device to just keep the story moving or explain why things are happening in the story, that kind of thing. So to that extent, he was kind of wasted, but obviously I understood what they were doing, going there with it. But yeah, I like his portrayal. The design, I feel like the design was fine. The design of his brain, because they didn't go for the long, elongated forehead thing with the that way. They went for the kind of brain shape protruding through the head kind of thing, which was fine for this. But I just feel like because he was so long in the shadows that when he did come to reveal it, it just felt slightly silly. But hey, man, it would have been much sillier to have the elongated forehead thing for this. So I'm fine with it. I'm not here for it, but I'm fine with it. Fine with it. Sam Wilson's redesigned outfit. I'm not gonna say I missed the cowl because I feel like it was. Think about it, is Anthony Mackie has small ears, right? Like in relation to the rest of his face, his ears are probably like relatively average size, but in regards to the rest of his face, he has relatively small ears. So when they added the cowl in Falcon and Winter Soldier, when they add the the comic accurate thing where it's up to his head, I just felt like it looked a bit weird because it made his look even smaller. I kind of highlighted them, so I'm glad they got rid of the cowl. But I did kind of like the white and the blue outfit. He's gone back to more of a classic sort of Captain America look, more darker with his final outfit in this. And yeah, it looks fine, but I hope they return to the white and the blue because I quite like that look. Pops a bit more, but that's just my personal preference. What else about this movie? Well, I'll get it off before I wrap this up, should I say? Yeah, the post-credit scene I found a bit pointless. Like it was obviously sort of, I believe anyway, from what I've gleaned, is that it's a little bit of a setup for Secret Wars. You know, obviously with Samuel Stern, the leader, being able to work out all these probabilities and stuff like that, and being so clever with numbers, he factors that there will be that, you know, so he's basically talking about the multiverse and all that kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, whatever, in it. Like, I just feel like there was no need for that extra scene to try and set that all up. Even the way it was like performed, like Sam was wearing a different outfit. It would have felt like he would have had that chat at the same time after having seen talking with Ross, and yeah, it felt tacked on basically. And speaking on that as well, it's like some parts of the movie were clearly had green screen. The problem with these movies, right? They're so big and so expensive or whatever. Sometimes they overuse technology, I feel like, and you just want more of that practical grounded stuff. So when I see like, you know, a background that clearly isn't there, I do get a bit like taken out of it, which is a shame. But you know, I know it's expensive to go everywhere and whatnot and do everything practically, but you so you got the money, you could do it if you really wanted to. But yeah, like I say, overall this movie was fine. I had a good time. It wasn't my favorite, but it was decent, and I feel it's better than a lot of critics online, at least, are saying than it is. I feel it's definitely worth a watch if you like your sort of Marvel. Uh, if you like a Marvel movie, obviously, but also if you like an action sort of thriller, sort of slightly political thriller movie, then yeah, check it out, man. It's worth it, you know. Tap it straight to my veins. Anthony Mackie as Captain America, Brave New Bird Man, um, Birdman America, Black Tin America, whatever you want to call him. He's there. He's the new Captain America, and I salute you, sir. Did a good job, along with the rest of the cast. And justice for Isaiah Bradley. Like, he needs more than just a little monument in the museum. Sort his man out properly, and don't mess with him again. All right. Yeah, that's what I feel. Okay, so that was my thoughts on Captain America Brave New World. How are you feeling it? Did you like it? Or are you comfortable with Anthony Mackie taking up the title role as Captain America, as Sam Wilson? And yeah, did you like the movie? Did you think it was good action, good drama? Was it the Winter Soldier back again as everybody wanted? Yeah, I mean, like I say, I feel it was its own thing, and I enjoyed it for what it was. But yeah, let me know how you feel in the comments below. And as always, share, like, and subscribe. My name is Miles Reviews. You can find me on socials as Miles Reviews. And yeah, just like the channel, subscribe, and stay up to date with all the videos I'm making. And in the meantime, I hope you guys are good out there enjoying those films, TV, music, and most importantly, life. Alright, take care. God bless and all the rest.